welcome to my review of Blinded by the Light, an indie that has been making waves ever since it came out at Sundance. I have been dying to see this film, and I do not want to get any of the names wrong, so please allow me this exception of reading who directed it from my phone. So it's directed by Gurinder, I hope that's the way you pronounce it, and it stars Viveik, Kalra. And I also hope I pronounced that right. The film is set in 1987 in the town of Luton, just about an hour away from London, and we follow Javed, a teenager who learns to live life, love his family, and find his own voice through the music of Bruce Springsteen, the boss, which is one of the aspects that appeals me in this film. So let's start with the obvious. I love the music of Bruce Springsteen, and I also love how they included it in this film. It's actually used quite differently than I was expecting, that you usually see. It's used very differently than, for instance, the Beatles music was used in Yesterday. This kid just hears, listens to the music, and relates to it because of what Bruce Springsteen talks about in his music, which is relatable to many of us. He's going through tough times. The film is set during Thatcher's years ruling Britain, and he's from a Pakistani family who has moved to Britain because his father wanted to get a better life for his family. And honestly, the film couldn't have found a better lead because Viveik has exactly that boyish look that just offers him this sympathetic look and feel throughout this film. You cannot help but like this kid for what he does, for what he goes through, the decisions he makes. This is a great protagonist for this type of story, and this is how you get casting right for these types of roles. And in general, the young cast's performances from the last known actors are all really solid, and they were exactly perfectly cast for these roles. But the film gains even more momentum through its supporting performances, namely Hayley Atwell, who plays the teacher, Mrs. Clay, and you know I will be happy to see Hayley Atwell in anything, because I love her. But honestly, the biggest star of this film is not even Viveik himself alone, but the relationship that Javed, the character, has with his father, who, forgive me for looking again, is played by Kulvinder Ghir. I hope that's the way you pronounce it. This dude is fucking awesome, alright? I have never seen him before, at least I didn't recognize him from anything before. That is fucking incredible. This is one of my favorite performances of the year, and what this relationship goes through in the film, the ups and the downs, when you understand the environment, their backstory, what they're going through right now. It's a beautiful told story between the father and the son and the struggles they go through individually, but also how they clash with one another. Because Javed doesn't even want to be a singer, a musician. He wants to write. He wants to write poems. That's what he does, and he's brilliant at it. And throughout the film, you get those sprinkles of what he writes, and that just feeds into the film and what you eventually get as a payoff, and you understand what everyone is seeing in him and how he should trust himself. It's a really well done inspirational tale that stays away from the norm, because normally these types of films, they tell you follow your dreams, and then we see someone following their dreams and reaching success, and then we usually explore how people don't deal well with success. This film actually explores how tough it is to get up that ladder. It shows you the struggle. It shows you the work you have to put into it. It shows you how things don't always go right on the way up that ladder, and that's what I really loved about this film. But I am not going to tell you that this isn't a story you haven't seen before. You have seen this story 1,000 times. But that's not even the issue, because it doesn't matter what you are about, it matters how you are about it. My biggest issue with the film is how sometimes the editing gets in the way of the story. There are moments where you feel like the characters in the story should be taking a breath because something heavy just happened, something happy just happened, and the film just cuts away and moves on, and you feel like it's a little bit too accelerated. You feel like the film should breathe a little more. Also, in relation to that, also with the editing, and it bothered me throughout the entire film, this film does a really poor job at showing the passage of time. I have no idea what's the timeline of this film. There's an early scene in 1980, then the film quickly cuts to 1987 where the main story happens. And without spoilers, coming the end of the film, the very last scene or the last two scenes, you see that it's happening in 1988. So you assume it took place within one school year, but you really have no idea, you just have to assume. And also Tommen from Game of Thrones is in this film and he's Javid's childhood friend. They've been best friends forever. I didn't feel this story offered anything to the film. There's this other guy who presents to Javid Bruce Springsteen, and you feel that friendship is much stronger throughout the film, so that other one really didn't serve a purpose. But of course, this is based on a true story, so I guess they had to tell that part. Blinded by the Light is one of the most joyous and exhilarating movies I have seen this entire year. There's so much passion flowing through the music, the screenplay, the acting, the directing is just overblown with passion. You can't help but feel it. It's a crowd-pleasing, emotionally gripping joyride that is silly, it is corny, it is overblown. In that way, it's very similar to Bruce's greatest hits, and that's kind of why we love it. I'm going to give Blinded by the Light a B+. Guys, what did you think of Blinded by the Light? If you have seen it, I was so lucky to catch this at a Cineworld Secret Unlimited screening because this only comes out in like a month over here in the UK. So I hope you get a chance to see it soon. I can't wait to watch it again. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Let me know all your thoughts about the film in the comments below. Let me know what is your favorite Bruce Springsteen song. Thank you so much once more. So until the next review, stay beautiful, stay geeky, and don't forget to subscribe and like the videos. I love you. 3000.